Well, hello everyone and welcome back to 48 Now. It's digital host AJ Wiest, and today, of course, I am joined with Miss Kim Holder. She is with Not One More Alabama, and coming up on August 23rd, the End Addiction Walk here in Huntsville. Kim, thank you so much for joining in today.
Thanks for having me, AJ. It's always so much fun to be here.
Yes, ma'am. So talk a little bit about last year's End Addiction Walk and everything that you're planning for this year.
Okay. All right. Well, last year, I think, we always wonder how many people are there. This year, we're going to try to get some specific numbers. I think there are a couple of organizations that do the geocaching, and so we'll be able to get a specific number. But last year was great. It's always such an amazing thing to me when we see community, family, and individuals all come together in one location to celebrate, to memorialize, to put out the awareness that we're here and we're doing this thing. So it's really it's just always so moving. Every year is moving.
Yes, ma'am. And you're expecting more people this year?
Yeah. It seems like every year we grow a little bit larger and a little bit larger. This year we're having over 45 resource tables, and typically it's usually right around 40. So we've added some new resources. There are some incredible new resources in the area that are coming into their own rights now, and so we're getting to add those folks as they come into town. So it's really going to be a really good resource area for us this year. I was telling another group today, recovery looked one way 20 years ago. It was not a pretty thing to talk about, and today I was sitting at a table full of people in recovery, working for, operating, running organizations in brand new buildings, in neighborhoods with brown street signs. We're right in the middle of the heart of Huntsville, Alabama, and we're recovering out loud, and it's becoming more attractive. And the more attractive recovery becomes, the more people we attract. So it's working out.
Yes, ma'am. And that kind of ties into some of our previous conversations we've had about ending the stigma and the importance of ending the stigma.
Absolutely. Once you destigmatize something, you remove the fear, you remove the, I don't want to say ignorance, but the lack of knowledge.
Right.
Once those things are removed and people are able to be authentic in their recovery, you would be amazed at the people who are in recovery that you encounter on a daily basis, and you may not even know it.
Right.
Usually you're going to find they've got a little something special, though. So it's pretty cool.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And one thing I understand that's happening this year that I don't believe happened last year, there's some local live entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so the evening before the walk, so Friday the 22nd, we are having an event where we're going to feature singer-songwriter Katie Tidmore.
Yes.
She is a native of Huntsville, Alabama, and she will be sharing through song and storytelling her journey through addiction into a place of hope and healing. And that's so exciting for us. We try to look for people who have a good story to tell, and she certainly has that, but then along with that, chronologically over the years, she's written songs about her journey, and so we're very excited to hear her at the Damson Car Museum on Friday night before the walk. Tickets are available for that on Eventbrite. There's a small charge, but it will be well worth it considering the scope of her talent. She's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And how did that come about? How did you reach out to Katie, or did she reach out to you?
Well, that's a funny story, and I can't share all of it because I don't want to talk about other individuals without their permission.
Right.
But Katie, through a friend of Noma, was seen posting some things on Facebook. One of our co-founders picked up on the fact that, hey, this young girl that I remember as being the talent in middle school is now this adult female doing things that talk about her journey, her journey to healing, and she's doing that out loud. She's doing it on TikTok and on Spotify and all the apps that do music today. I'm old. But she found her that way. And so we reached out and had a couple of conversations, and during the conversation sitting in our office, she told most of her story, and I was interested and kind of drawn in by it. And then when she got to the end of her story, and I don't want to, no spoiler alerts here, it was so moving and so incredible and so spot on for what we want to represent at the End Addiction Walk, that it just made perfect sense to have her be our keynote speaker for the day. And then to showcase her talent even further, we're going to have the event the night before. It's going to be exciting.
That is exciting. It makes it kind of into a whole weekend.
Yeah, yeah. And the venue's amazing. It's probably 75 to 100 vintage, antique, pristine automobiles. And so even if you're not into those things, it's an amazing place to walk into. I mean, everybody's taken aback. It's like something in Huntsville, Alabama that we feel like should be maybe Jay Leno's garage or something like that, So it's going to be a really good evening. We're going to have a little light meal and just Katie entertaining us, telling her story through music.
That's right, yes ma'am, and the power of music. We've had Microwave Dave in here, and he definitely shared a lot about the power of music, so I just feel strongly there is just something about music that just brings people together, all for a good cause.
I think so too.
Right, yes ma'am. What else can people expect at the End Addiction Walk this year?
Well, so this year Frog Tog, which is a company based in North Alabama, for the second year has donated chili pads. Lily pad, chili pad, get it, Frog Tog. So these are amazing. You dip them in ice water, put them around your neck, and you survive the hottest day in August, which is always the day of the walk. So under the Cooper Climate Control cooling tent with its misters and fans, we will have a station set up to keep your towels wet and cool, and so that way you can say it's the hottest day, but you made it through the End Addiction Walk with no problem, thanks to Cooper and Frog Togs.
Frog Togs, that's right.
Yeah.
And my relationship with Frog Togs kind of go back. We go far back. When I was in middle school during summer football conditioning, those Frog Togs came in clutch for sure.
Absolutely, so. Yeah, they're good folks.
Definitely
really good
can
folks.
Stay cool for sure, finish the walk.
Right, yep. And we have a setup so that you can re-wet your towel, no double dipping allowed, but we have a very sanitary way of keeping everybody cool. And I think last year, of all the things we had done that people really appreciated as far as comfort went, that was it. So we're excited to have those back this year. It's a really, really big deal.
Yes, ma'am, for sure. And then what are some other ways people can stay cool?
So we're moving to the shady side of the park this year, which means it may be a little bit more difficult for the resources to load and unload, but we have trees. Like we have actual trees to be under.
That helps.
Seating is always really limited, so it's a good idea if you're going to come and stay for the whole day to bring your own chairs and just pick a shady spot, JJ's Treats will be there again this year. They're an ice cream vendor who will set up on Church Street right before you walk into our spot on the park. And they'll be set up again this year, so there's that way of staying cool. Buffalo Rock has donated, again, water and soft drinks that will have ice down in the big barrels all around. So there are ways to survive the hottest day in August. And if you can say you survived the walk 2025, then kudos.
You can survive anything at that
that's
point.
Right,
yes, ma'am. I know we've talked about this before, but talk a little bit about the significance of this event and this walk.
Okay, so the purpose of the End Addiction Walk is literally to bring a community together, all in one place. We're there to first and foremost walk in honor of individuals that we've lost to substance use disorders. So we set up a memorial area, we have a memorial wall, There are all kinds of activities there where family members can memorialize their loved one. We encourage people to bring photographs, snapshots, anything to put on the memorial wall, making sure you have a copy of that to keep for yourself. But then, you know, we all come together to celebrate recovery as well. We do the recovery circle every year where we call out duration of sobriety, and so that circle starts out really small and then it just continues to grow and grow and grow as we go through timelines, starting out with years to months to weeks to days to minutes sometimes, and then as that circle grows, the power of it grows.
That's right.
And when that circle is at its fullest, that's when we begin the memorial walk. And so it's a really amazing, powerful thing.
That's right.
Yep.
And you've said the word power multiple times.
Yeah.
Talk about just like the power of the community and how it can really help pull you out of a dark place.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest drawback for people seeking treatment, for people becoming willing to even accept that they have a problem, is that fear of how a community is going to look at them, whether it's their community at large or their family. You know, there's so much stigma attached to the disease of addiction that when someone suffers from substance use disorders, you know, it's a guilt and shame game. The longer you use drugs and alcohol, the more guilt and shame you're creating for yourself, and that makes it just harder and harder to seek help. Fortunately today, we know that community is the answer to that. We know that connection is the opposite of addiction. We know that building those community resources, which is one of the things the walk does, bringing all that together in one place, it just opens up opportunities. It opens up opportunities if for no other reason than for people to have an honest conversation. And if you can have an honest conversation about what you're going through, what your loved one is going through, what your friends and family are seeing in their lives, that starts something. You know, it starts something pretty deep, and then we've got the resources there to provide whatever backup you need, you know, right there on the spot. So it's really, it's a life-saving event, between the resources and then the Narcan that'll be distributed on that day. It just has potential to save lives, and something's working in this town because overdose deaths are down significantly, and so you know, maybe things like this walk are part of that. Maybe reducing some of the stigma and giving power back to the powerless is part of that.
It's so very well said right there.
Thank you.
And you mentioned overdose deaths are down this year?
Yeah, so we met with Don Webster
Yes.
a few weeks ago. We all love Don
That's
Webster.
right.
So he told us that Madison County's overdose deaths have decreased from 113 in February of 2024 down to 82 in December of last year. So that's a pretty significant decrease.
Yes, ma'am.
Several factors can probably play into that, but we would love to think that awareness and the distribution of life-saving Narcan is part of that. You know, it's got to be part of that. The outcome is amazing wherever it's coming from. So we're pretty excited about that. It'll be the first time when we put up our purple flags on Overdose Awareness Day. It'll be the first time our number has decreased since 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Was there a moment, a moment that kind of comes to mind at last year's End Addiction Walk where someone might have came up to you and it really touched you and they were able to seek help?
Yeah, so I'm not necessarily involved with the resource tables up front. I get them there. I make sure they get set up okay, and then just kind of make sure everything kind of runs smoothly behind the scenes. And so I don't have a specific story of an individual who was impacted. I can tell you that I'm impacted every year, over and over and over. Every speaker we've ever had has been the perfect person for that particular day. And last year it was a fellow newscaster that was our
That's right.
keynote speaker,
Haley
Baker,
Yeah.
and she did an amazing job. My friends and coworkers tell me that I'm kind of tough, which I don't know if I believe that or not. That day, during her story, I hid behind one of those big bushes at the museum and just had an ugly cry. You know, it was so moving, so heart-wrenching when someone is in the depths of their addiction, but to see them come out on the other side and be able to tell a story of hope that's always the most powerful thing.
Yes, ma'am.
When somebody can share a personal story and it ends well, you know.
That's right. Really touches you,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely, every time.
And what are some other need-to-know details about the upcoming End Addiction Walk? Like where to park, how long can we expect to stay there?
Okay.
How long of a walk is it?
Okay,
and all that?
so we'll do setup from 7:30 to 8:30. The walk begins at 9. I checked in on the latest information about parking today. There is no free parking unless it's metered. Because
Okay.
metered parking is free on the weekends and after 5. So if you're in a parking garage or deck or area across the street maybe, then there is going to be a fee for that parking. If you need to unload and reload, then you can use the circle there right in front of the museum. Otherwise, we'll be located right at Church Street. The first thing you'll see will be the ice cream truck, and then the walk entrance will start there. This year, we'll go around the pond and then come back to the north side of the museum there.
Okay.
And so even most of the walk will have a little shade this year. So hopefully it's going to be a cooler side to be on. That's our hope.
Right. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're excited
please.
about trees.
That's right. Yeah, the shade, it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And we're near the fountain, so we'll have the water splashing, so it'll sound cooler than it is, and that's always a plus.
That's
So,
right. You might want to jump in after.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, I've seen some of those fish, and they're bigger than I am.
Right,
So
that's
I'll
true.
stay on this side of the water.
But talk about these awesome shirts
Oh, yeah.
you guys
So
have this
year, we have a teal End Addiction HSV. Has our walk logo there on the front. And then here is the back of this year's shirt. It is amazing. Again, it depicts some of the areas in Big Spring Park, the bridge, and then the cherry blossoms, which give it a little pop of color this year. And of course, you got the Noma heart for the Heart of Huntsville Love and Recovery.
That's right. And they're very soft shirts. I felt it right before we started this interview. So, yeah, they're very good shirts. You're going to want to get one.
Cool and soft this year.
That's right.
We have those
Yes,
on
ma'am.
sale now in our office, 2200 Bob Wallace. We also have them available for a little bit longer online on our website. You can pay ahead and pick them up. At some point, though, soon the shipping will have to be turned off because it won't get there in time for the walk.
Right.
So, but they're moving pretty fast. And we'll also
Yeah.
have them available at the walk.
At the walk
as well.
itself.
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, perfect. And how much is the walk? Did you mention that?
No, the walk is a free event.
It's a free event.
Mhm,
Yes,
mhm.
ma'am.
We do have sponsors that I think Selena sent you the graphic for the sponsors. And then our for-profit resource tables also pay a sponsorship fee, which is great. It allows us to provide every level of care, every level of support in our community by them being able to do that. But yeah, the walk's free, absolutely free.
Yes, ma'am. That's great.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Kim, that's just about all the questions I have. If maybe I didn't ask something you'd like to further add, please feel free.
I think that's it,
Right.
AJ.
Yes,
We're always so excited, and we're always so amazed at the support. You know, we rent the park this time of year every year, and it's almost like as soon as this event ends, as soon as this walk is over, people, participants, resources, everybody starts talking about next year's walk. you know.
That's
so
right.
it's become kind of a staple in our town. And we're excited every year to bring in more and more of the community because that really is where the answers lie, is in having it takes a village to do all this.
That's right.
And the more people we can bring in from the community organizations and leaders in our community, then the more likely people are to find help. And that's what it's all about.
Yes, ma'am. The power of the community.
That's right.
Are there any other events Not One More Alabama is putting on you'd like to mention?
In October, we will have our Recovery at the River, which I believe it's October 18th, but do not quote me on that.
Okay.
That's always at Ditto Landing, and it's cool. Lots of trees right there on the lake. We've got the pavilion for cover if we need it. And that's always it's a laid back, you know, we do yard games and have music, and I think this year we may grill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we do that periodically. Sometimes we have it catered. It's just a really laid back event so that people in recovery can spend a Sunday afternoon kicked back by the river.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And it's in the month of October,
Right.
a great month,
Yeah,
chillier
yeah,
month.
Right. The last week of August, the last day of August, August 31st, is always International Overdose Awareness Day.
Mhm.
So in the week leading up to that, we've partnered with Redstone Federal Credit Union to light up purple, which is the theme.
That's right.
Light it up purple. We're going to be lighting up our office space as well. Through that week also, we'll have our flags on display, each purple flag representing one life lost to overdose from February to February of this year. Again, luckily a lesser number this time, but those will be set up on Bob Wallace for everybody to see on their drive to and from work. And it's such a powerful reminder when you see all those tiny flags that each one of those represents someone's loved one, their spouse, their child, their parent, their sibling. And so it's really a powerful message as well. Very visually powerful.
Right.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Kim, thank you so much for coming in today. And if you're all watching at home right now, come on out to the End Addiction Walk on August 23rd. You're just not going to want to miss it. See Kim there. She'll be there. Get a shirt. It's going to be an awesome time. But, Kim, thanks again.
All right. Thank you, AJ. Always a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.